it's Jessie and I am so pale I'm literally starting to terrify myself. So today I'm going to be doing a video that I have honestly been trying to put together for weeks. If you've watched my last couple of videos, I played with a couple Makeup Revolution products that I was able to get my hands on. I went to like 2 different Ultas several different times trying to get enough products to put together a whole video, and my Ultas were just cleared out or just didn't have the products I was looking for. So I was going to do an online Ulta order, but the Ulta website still didn't have some of the products that I was looking for, so I ended up placing the order directly through the Makeup Revolution website, which was great because I actually got free shipping. I got so much stuff. I'll reveal how much I spent on everything at the end of the video once I'm done and you see all the products I got. But if you want to see me go from this to this, just keep watching. So the first product I have here is the Makeup Revolution Fast Base Stick Foundation. This was what I was looking for that Ulta does not carry on their website, but I knew that they made it. So that was really most of the reason that I ended up placing the order through the Makeup Revolution site directly. I will say it was really hard to figure out the shades. The pictures were not great on the website. I picked up the shade F2. I have no idea if this will work, what this will do. I really don't know. I also off camera put on some facial oil and some primer. My skin has been super dry lately and I know sticks are generally dry on me. So I went ahead and tried to make my face as hydrated as possible before I put this on. We'll see how that goes. I think this is gonna be pretty light. And then I also picked up the Advanced Complexion Expert Soft Sponge. This looks really similar to the Morphe sponge. It's like the same shape. I like this little yellow color though, and also when I put it underwater, it became huge. So I had a little bit of a saga with FedEx trying to get this stuff delivered. It shipped from Illinois last Monday, and then it went from Illinois to Wisconsin, and then back to Illinois. Then it went to Indiana, and then it went to Kentucky. So like in 5 days, it literally traveled like 2 states. And it kept telling me that the estimated delivery was Saturday. Yeah, this is definitely light, but we're gonna blend it out and then mess with it. Look a little pale. And so then on Saturday, it finally made it to Georgia, but it was like out in the middle of nowhere, and it still said it was delivering to me on Saturday. And I'm like, there's no way it's gonna get here. And then it just stopped giving me a delivery date. Then on Monday, it finally popped up a new delivery date and it said Wednesday, but then it got delivered on Tuesday. It's like, I can't win. I really think there might be a conspiracy between like FedEx, UPS, and these shippers to mess up package delivery for online orders to keep the retail stores in business. I don't think I'm that far off. Okay, so that foundation definitely looks a little patchy on my skin. Part of the problem I think is just my issue with stick foundations, and part of it I think is also just the color being so light, but we're gonna keep moving on. Next, I have the Conceal and Define Full Coverage Conceal and Contour. This is in the shade C5. Once again, I have no earthly idea what the shade range was, what it looks like. It was very hard to tell, so I grabbed this. Don't know if this will be the right shade or anywhere near the right shade. It already looks kind of dark, but actually on it looks good. I think with my regular foundation, this will actually be pretty good. I always feel like it's easier to darken up light foundation than it is to lighten dark foundation. So when it comes to picking a shade, I'd rather go a little too light than a little too dark. And since I'm so pale right now, everything looks dark on me. I'm gonna go ahead and put some of this directly on my eyelids too to prime for my eyeshadow. So for the last couple of weeks, if you watch any of my videos, I have been raving about the Makeup Revolution Luxury Baking Powder, the banana powder. It is a hair dark on me, and so I was trying to buy the shade lighter, which is called Lace, but they were actually out of it on Ulta and on the Makeup Revolution website. must be a very popular item. So I am gonna use a little of this banana powder. I think that will also help kind of deepen up this foundation a little bit. Lately I have noticed as my tan has kind of worn off that this has been a little dark, but since I'm trying to darken this up a little bit, I think it'll be okay. So I was setting the powder with the sponge. I'm actually gonna switch over and set a little bit with the brush because I wanna kind of cover more of my face and just do kind of like a light misting of the powder. So I wanna get some of that color payoff. Okay, I've got that powder sticking in some very strange places, but I'm just gonna keep going. Next, I picked up the chocolate brown brow pomade from Makeup Revolution. I don't usually use pomades. I usually use like the Brow Wiz or the Brow Definer from ABH. But this was the only brow product they had, so I thought I would try it out. I'm gonna use the little brush they sent with it. It's a little angled definer brush. These are some serious brows. For eyeshadow, I picked up the Pro Luxe Big Love palette. This has like 3 different like color blocks so you can make different looks. They're all pretty much shimmer shades, but there are a couple matte transitional shades at the top. So first I'm gonna pick up this shade right here. Already gotten my fingerprints in the mirror. Can't take me anywhere. I think I want to keep this more of a neutral look today, so I am going to mostly be working in this first little color palette right here. So next I'm going to pick up this kind of brown shimmer shade and I'm going to work that all over my lid. So I can't believe that we're like, what, 4 weeks, 5 weeks into RuPaul's Drag Race and I haven't even discussed it yet. Fallen behind. There's a lot of queens that I like this season, but none of them that I can see actually winning. Like, I love Aquaria, but I can't see her actually winning. I really love Vanessa Vanjie. I was really disappointed that she got kicked off first in the season. I saw something online that she might be coming back. I don't know. I mean, Miss Cracker, I feel like does the same thing kind of every week. And maybe Aquaria just, I mean, they all are kind of like, no one is really the standout of the season. Like every season there's been someone that's like, oh my God, they're obviously gonna win. Like I end up picking the winner almost every single year. I end up picking it right. Like I knew Bob the Drag Queen was gonna win. I knew that Violet Chachki was gonna win. I knew that Sasha Velour was gonna win. I mean, like there's always a standout that maybe not at the very beginning, but like a couple weeks in, you're like, okay, here is who's it's gonna come down to. And I feel like that's not as clear this season. Next, I'm gonna pick up this darker brown shade and I'm gonna kind of keep that more on the outside corner. Just blend that in. So this is the second Makeup Revolution eyeshadow palette that I've got, and I feel about this one kind of the same way I did the first one, is that they're pretty shadows, but they're not super pigmented. And I think I said it before, I mean, I don't really necessarily mind that because they are pigmented, you can work with them, they do blend nicely. It just takes a little longer to get that color payoff. I'm one of those people, I don't mind. I like to kind of take my time and go a little slower and make sure that I'm liking the look and liking what's going on. But if you're someone that just wants to like slap a look together, it does take a little longer just to get them to do what you want to do. I'm gonna pick up a little of this shade too, just to add a little extra dimension in there. I feel like there's not a lot of color in that purpley one, in that dark purple shade. I'm gonna take the little sponge brush that came with the palette and go into this kind of very yellowy gold shade right here, just to pop that in the inner corner of my eye. Since I am gonna do kind of like a precise thing, I'm gonna use the little sponge brush that came with it. And I'm just gonna blend that into the shadow that's already on my lid. And then I'm gonna just take my finger and pick up a little of this blue shade just for the very center of my lid. Like I said, for a little pop of color. And then I'm just gonna go back with the brush and just kind of blend everything together. I don't want this to be like a super defined thing. I just want it to be like kind of some colors blended together, like so. This foundation is getting patchier and patchier on my face. Not enjoying this. I can see it like right up here too. There's like a big patchy area. I'm just gonna cover that with my bangs. To line my upper lash line, I'm going to use a little of this shade. I did not get any eyeliner or mascara from Makeup Revolution. I don't think that they had any. If they did, I did not see it. I'm gonna run a little bit of that first shade that I used in my lower lash line. And then I'm also gonna go back in with a little bit of this shade and just put that kind of in the outer corner to connect. Okay, I popped on a little mascara off camera. Looking at the eyes now, I really like this kind of like soft, kind of grungy look that we've got going on. Those shadows ended up creating kind of a very soft, smoky eye, which I am kind of a fan of. So to continue on with my face, I have the Makeup Revolution Ultra Bronze Bronzer. Seeing this in person, it actually looks a lot better than it looked online. I tell you this all the time. I tend to have a problem with drugstore bronzers. They tend to be way too orangey and red on me. And I was afraid that this one was gonna be the same, but I got it anyway. But actually seeing this in person, it's a lot prettier and a lot browner in person. We'll see how it looks on my skin now. Okay, so while definitely not my favorite bronzer, it's definitely not the worst I've ever tried. I think that this would look better if I was in a foundation shade that was more my actual color. I don't totally hate it though, so for me that's praise. For blush, I have the Baked Blush in the shade Loved Me the Best. There weren't a ton of options for shades, which is why I got this one, which I probably wouldn't normally gravitate towards. I'm gonna go in really lightly with this because I'm not sure how pigmented it is, and it's quite a color. So I was out of the house most of the day yesterday, and it wasn't until I got home last night that I opened my package. It was finally here, and I honestly was so excited about some of these products that I almost filmed the video last night, but I ended up waiting. But this was one of the products I was definitely the most excited about when I saw it in person, and this is the Triple Baked Highlighter in the shade Goddess of Faith. I don't know if you can see, like, it is so like sparkly looking. It just like looks so nice in this package. I didn't even swatch it last night because I knew if I swatched it, I would probably end up coming down here and filming. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. Oh yeah. This is the kind of highlighter that I really love. I love the ones that really look just wet. They're not super heavy, they're really light, and they just kind of melt into your skin. And that is definitely what this is. And I'm really happy that it goes on the way that I thought it would looking at it. It just ends up looking like part of my skin instead of looking like glitter. Can't help myself, I'm gonna put a little bit more inside of my corner. For my lips, I picked up one of their little lip kits. It has a lip pencil and a liquid lipstick. I picked up the shade Rain. So first I'm gonna line my lips with the pencil. If I can get it open. Definitely creamy. And then I'm gonna go over with the liquid lipstick. The liquid lipstick is definitely a little patchy. I put on one layer and I could still kind of see through it, so I put on a second layer. I'm gonna wait for this to dry a little bit before I decide if I'm gonna go in with another layer or not. Okay, and here's the finished look. I did go ahead and put on another layer of the liquid lipstick. This lipstick is super sticky. Like, I just pinched my lips together and I can already see that like part of it came off right there. I feel like when you use a full range of one brand's products, there are definitely gonna be products that you like more than others, and that is of course the case here as well. As far as the products that I really did love and I will definitely be using again, the brow pomade is amazing. I've never used a brow pomade, but I will definitely be using this one. I think it looks really good. My brows look amazing. I of course covered them with my bangs, so you can't see the situation on my forehead, but I love the brows. The concealer is definitely also a winner. I'm interested to see it with my regular foundation instead of this stick foundation. I think I'm going to like it even more. The other product that I am definitely really happy about, I will definitely be using again in the future, is that baked highlighter. It's funny, I think this might be also like a dupe for the Too Faced. I know Too Faced does like a heart-shaped highlighter, which I've never tried, but I do love this one. This might be my new favorite highlighter. I don't know, if we were to have a battle showdown between like the Milani Sun Glow highlighter and this one, I think it would be hard to pick. I'm gonna have to use this one some more. As far as the products that I was kind of neither here nor there on, the sponge, I'm gonna try the sponge with some other foundations. I didn't love it with the stick foundation, but I know I also have a problem applying stick foundations with sponges. I find that a lot of foundations for my skin look better putting on with a brush. I did end up putting some more on with a brush after I used the sponge, just to try and kind of even everything out, since it was looking kind of patchy. The blush I'm also gonna give a second chance to. I feel like I didn't let it live up to its full potential since the foundation base was a little messy. And the same thing also with the bronzer. I didn't totally hate the bronzer. I wasn't like loving it, but I don't completely hate it. I will definitely try using that bronzer again. And then there's the products that I don't know if I will use again, that I wasn't like a huge fan of. Definitely the foundation. Not a huge fan of the foundation. If this foundation comes into Ulta, I may buy a shade closer to my actual color and try it again. This shade is way too light. I'm gonna have to find someone who's paler than me and pawn this off on them, because it's just not my color. I tried to make it work with the powder, but that made it look splotchy and kind of a mess. My base kind of looks like a mess right now. I don't know if you can totally see it in the camera, but it definitely does in person. And the other product that I wasn't wowed by was this little lip kit. This liquid lipstick is just not doing it for me. It's really patchy on my lips. It's still sticky. It doesn't really dry down. Not a big fan of that. So the item I didn't mention in this rundown was the eyeshadow palette. I think I'll definitely use the eyeshadow palette again. I think it's really good for these kind of like neutral, everyday looks. I'm sure that I will use that again. So all in all, the total amount that I spent on everything I used in this video today, minus the powder, which I already had, was $60, which I think is pretty crazy. This stuff is so cheap, but it's actually pretty good quality. I mean, I think the concealer was like $6. I think the foundation was like $9. Everything is under about $20. I think that the eyeshadow palette was like $15. But all in all, I think this is like such a reasonable line. I think it's funny that they kind of came out of nowhere and now everybody is kind of talking about them. These are really affordable products, which I personally am a huge fan of, especially for a video and look like this where I want to try out a whole range of their products. I don't want to spend like $300, $400 to buy everything, which I would end up doing if it was a higher end brand. I love these drugstore brands where I can buy almost everything for my face for 50 or 60 bucks. I think that's amazing. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.